There is a lot to be said about this current psychological operation, but no matter what you do in life, find yourself that special person who looks at you with love and desire like Donnie looks at Mamdani. And I guarantee you, Trump appearing to fall in love with Mamdani was not on any MAGA bingo card. From the free market, non-political perspective, this was totally expected because we are in a WWE dog and pony clown show incessantly under Washington's District of Criminals Big Top. These guys are on the same team and they're following the script of the same team owners. And for you not to realize that at this point in time in 2025 tells me you don't know what's going on, you don't care what's going on, or you're just plain stupid. And before I roll the tape, I just want to remind you what Trump said about Mamdani and what Mamdani has said about Trump. First, here's what Trump said. Zohran Mamdani, a 100% communist lunatic, has just won the Dem primary and is on his way to becoming mayor. We've had radical lefties before, but this is getting a little ridiculous. He looks terrible. His voice is grating. He's not very smart. Any Jewish person that votes for Zohran Mamdani, a proven self-professed Jew hater, is a stupid person. If communist candidate Zohran Mamdani wins the election for mayor of New York City, it is highly unlikely that I will be contributing federal funds, other than the very minimum as required, to my beloved first home because of the fact that as a communist, this once great city has zero chance of success or even survival. He also said, it's my strong conviction that New York City will be a complete and total economic and social disaster should Mamdani win. Strong conviction, eh? And let's not forget, he called Mamdani a communist lunatic, a total nut job, frequently referring to Mamdani as my little communist, and even suggesting that Mamdani is here illegally. And what has Mamdani said about Trump? If anyone can show a nation betrayed by Donald Trump how to defeat him, it's the city that gave rise to him. After winning the election, Mamdani said, "So Donald Trump, since I know you're watching, I have 4 words for you. Turn the volume up." He called Trump a despot and described himself as Donald Trump's worst nightmare. He hypocritically referred to Trump as having a fascist agenda and being authoritarian, as though a socialist isn't authoritarian. He also said, prior to this meeting in the Oval Office, the Donald Trumps of our city have grown far too comfortable taking advantage of their tenants. We will end the culture of corruption that has allowed billionaires like Trump to evade taxation and exploit tax breaks, as though that were a bad thing. Let's just take a quick look at this WWE dog and pony slop.
I just want to congratulate. I think you're going to have hopefully a really great mayor. The better he does, the happier I am, I will say. There's no difference in party. There's no difference in anything. And we're going to be helping him.
There's no difference in party now, Donnie?
To make everybody's dream come true, having a strong and very safe New York. And congratulations, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
A very safe New York. The safety of the people is always, always the alibi of tyrants. The Mamdani tyrants and the Trump tyrants.
Yeah, please.
Just days ago, you referred to President Trump as a despot who betrayed the country. You said you'd be his worst nightmare and accused him of having a fascist agenda. Are you planning to retract any of these remarks in order to improve the relationship?
I think both President Trump and I, we are very clear about our positions and our views, and what I really appreciate about the president is that the meeting that we had focused not on places of disagreement, which there are many, and also focused on the shared purpose that we have in serving New Yorkers. And
yeah, we just have a shared purpose, and that shared purpose is we got to help these New Yorkers. We're going to make things more affordable. We're going to provide housing for them. We're going to keep them safe. We're going to take care of New Yorkers, says the government. We're from the government and we're just here to help. And just as a rudimentary refresher, despot means a ruler or other person who holds absolute power, typically one who exercises it in a cruel or oppressive way. Mamdani is right. Trump is a cruel oppressor. Trump is right. Mamdani is going to be a cruel oppressor. These two are playing for the same team owners. They're a part of the big club, and you're not in it. But you will be clubbed by their techno-bro, bankster-initiated authoritarian policies.
Frankly, that is something that could transform the lives of the 8.5 million people who are currently struggling under a cost of living crisis, with 1 in 4 living in poverty. And
cost of living crisis brought on by what? By who? By what organization? Maybe it's the organization that devalues the dollar that neither Trump nor Mamdani even dare to talk about. And even if they did talk about it, they do it all in deceit and pretense.
the meeting came back again and again to what it could look like to lift those New Yorkers out of struggle and start to deliver them a city that they could do more than just struggle to afford it, but actually start to live in it.
Ain't gonna happen. Ain't gonna happen. Don't hold your breath. These politicians are liars. And why would you ever listen to a liar and believe one word they say?
And I've been called much worse than a despot, so it's not that insulting. Maybe I think he'll change his mind after we get to working together. Yeah.
Being called a despot is not really that insulting. Actually, it's a little flattering because basically you're saying that I have absolute power. And I kind of do, except it's not my power. I'm just a puppet on the hand of a bankster trillionaire. I'm the one who's dangling from strings, just like my new pretend pal Zoran is. And Democrats and some Republicans are eating this up.
A communist and a dictator walk into a bar.
I've had a lot of meetings with the heads of major countries. Nobody cared. This meeting that you people have gone crazy. You know, outside you have hundreds of people waiting. This is just a small little group. For some reason, the press has found this to be a very interesting meeting. The biggest people in the world, they come over from countries nobody cares. But they did care about this meeting.
The press was foaming at the mouth. They thought it'd be the biggest brawl since Zelensky. The name calling, that's politics. Trump's been giving it and taking it his whole career. This sends a signal to Democrats that Trump's really about business. And if he really was a dictator, would you let some guy come into your house and call you that? No. And did Mamdani go in there and hide his face like Big Gretch? No. Zoran's mayor, Trump's president, so let's get down to it.
Your answer to Stephen Nelson, he asked about your comment calling the president a fascist, and your answer was, well, President Trump and I have been clear about our positions and our views. Are you affirming that you think President Trump is a fascist?
I've spoken about...
That's okay, you can just say that.
The look of love.
I don't know the answer to that question.
Okay, it's easier. It's easier than explaining it. I don't mind.
You threatened to send federal troops to New York City. You both have differences when it comes to ICE agents in New York City. Mr. Mamdani, you call ICE a rogue government entity. I wonder how you reconcile your differences on both of those issues.
No, it is a rogue government entity. And this guy right here has deployed that rogue government entity. But again, Zoran and Donald Trump are working on the same team. It's the team that aligns itself against we the people. It always happens like this. It never doesn't happen like this.
We're going to work them out. And I think that if we have known murderers and known drug dealers and some very bad people, you know, we want to get them out. And the mayor wants to have peace. We discussed this at great length, actually, maybe more than anything else. He wants to have a safe New York. Ultimately, a safe New York is going to be a great New York. If it's not safe, no matter how well we do with pricing and with anything else, we can talk about anything you want. If you don't have safe streets, it's not going to be a success. So we're going to work together. We're going to make sure that if there are horrible people there, we want to get them out. I think he wants to get them out, maybe more than I do. So we'll work together. We discussed it at great length.
I think
New York's going to be safe, and the technocratic oligarchs are going to make sure that happens. We're going to set up the police state, the predictive policing state, the surveillance and control grid, and Zoran's going to help me do it. We already struck a deal. We're not going to tell you about that, but hey, we're here to make our corporate masters proud. To hell with America.
what I've shared with the president is our desire to not only follow the laws of our own city, laws that protect New Yorkers, but also a desire for consistency in our politics across the board. And that's something.
Laws like anti-gun laws, anti-Second Amendment laws. There are few states more restrictive as far as guns than New York.
That we've talked about and something that I know many New Yorkers want. We discussed ICE and New York City, and I spoke about how the laws that we have in New York City allow for New York City government to speak to the federal administration for about 170 serious crimes. The concerns that many New Yorkers have are around the enforcement of immigration laws on New Yorkers across the 5 boroughs, and most recently we're talking about a mother and her 2 children, how this has very little to do with what that is.
What we did is we discussed crime more than ICE per se. We discussed crime, and he doesn't want to see crime, and I don't want to see crime, and I have very little doubt that we're not going to get along on that issue.
The criminal kingpins are very concerned about stamping out crime. And New York is key because it has the largest police force in the entire world, not just in the nation, but in the entire world. The NYPD was investigated back in the 1970s with the Knapp Commission, spearheaded by Frank Serpico. You remember that. And then again, 20 years later in 1994, under the Mullen Commission. And the Mullen Commission concluded, and I quote, "Today's corruption is not the corruption of Knapp Commission days. Corruption then was largely a corruption of accommodation, of criminals and police officers giving and taking bribes, buying and selling protection. Corruption was, in its essence, consensual. But today's corruption under the Mullen Commission is characterized by brutality, theft, abuse of authority, and active police criminality." So when these psychopathic political parasites talk about stamping out crime in New York City, they are not talking about the law enforcement initiated crime by the NYPD, because the NYPD law enforcement class does the bidding of the political class, state, local, and federal.
We had a meeting today that actually surprised me. He wants to see no crime. He wants to see housing being built.
And I believe every word Mamdani says, just like he believes every word I say, even though these people right here are professional, political, parasitic liars that can never tell the truth and will always spin the truth and weave tales and lies.
To see rents coming down, all things that I agree with. Now, we may disagree how we get there. The rent coming down, I think one of the things I really gleaned very much today, he'd like to see him come down, ideally by building a lot of additional housing. Yeah. That's the ultimate way. He agrees with that, and so do I. But if I read the newspapers and the stories, I don't hear that. But I heard him say it today, and I think that's a very positive step. No, I don't expect. I expect to be helping him, not hurting him. A big help, because I want New York City to be great. Look, I love New York City. It's where I come from. I spent a lot of years there. Now I'm right here.
You're a billionaire. You have a different address nowadays than you used to, but you used to call New York City home. Would you feel comfortable living in New York City under a Mamdani administration?
Yeah, I would. I really would. Especially after the meeting. Absolutely.
After this meeting, I would feel so comfortable living in New York because Zohran's going to be the mayor. Why wouldn't I?
What makes you comfortable?
We agree on a lot more than I would have thought. I think I want him to do a great job, and we'll help him do a great job. You know?
And the fact that MAGA doesn't see this as an absolute betrayal to rub shoulders with and agree with an open communist.
We may have different views, but no, I feel very comfortable. I would feel very, very comfortable being in New York, and I think much more so after the meeting.
Do you view the mayor-elect as the true leader of the Democrat Party? And do you think Leader Schumer's and Leader Jeffries, have to follow his lead?
Well, look, I hope they have great leaders. This is a man that right now I think is focused on New York City. I really think he has a chance to do a great job. We're going to help him, but I really think he has a chance to do a great job. But I'll let you answer that. Do you consider yourself the leader of the Democrats? I think it's more appropriate for him.
I consider myself the next mayor of New York City, and I keep my horizons firmly on New York City, and I appreciate the meeting with the president, which focused again on the 5 boroughs and whether New Yorkers could afford to live there.
By the way, being the mayor of New York City is a big deal.
Absolutely.
I always said, one of the things I would love to be someday is the mayor of New York City.
And that concludes this segment of the political WWE Dog and Pony Show happening under the Washington's District of Criminals Big Top. And if you ever do anything in life, make sure you find that one special person that looks at you with such love and admiration that it rivals the starry-eyed love affair Donnie has with Mamdani. In the next video, I hope to go over the reactions of the pathetic collectivist monkeys in the propaganda peanut gallery on the left and the right, who seem to be enamored and surprised by this newly kindled crazy friendship between Trump and Mamdani. Leave your thoughts about this for the world and the Global Thought Police in the comments section below. Remember, the government is that parasitic, psychopathic, violent, thieving criminal gang you were afraid would take the place of the crazy power vacuum in the absence of government. I'll see you in the next video.